The ZX Spectrum came out in 1982 with a 16K and 48K model. Even though the 16K one did not last that long, a lot of games were actually coded for just the 16K. So today we're going to take a look at some of those games. This is my top 5 16K ZX Spectrum games you really must play. Please remember, this is my own personal list of games that I've actually played, and I may miss quite a few off, so if you think I'm missing your favourite 16K Spectrum game, let me know in the comments below. And first up we have Winged Warlords coming in at number 5. Winged Warlords really did shock me. I mean, if you know Joust, you know what kind of game this is. You've got to fly around, knock the people off the horses, collect them, and, you know, just go for the high score. I love just going for the high score games. But I'd played Joust clones before on the Spectrum, and none of them even come close. Some of them, I would say, are even broken. But this game is super fast, really enjoyable, and it's just one of those games that makes you want to come back and play it again and again and again. Now let's talk about the enemies. The enemies have got unique patterns. They just bounce all over the place. It's quite hard to determine where they're going to go, which it makes an interesting game. But you've got to make sure you land on their heads to knock the riders off like that, and you've got to collect them. That's where you get the points. If you leave the riders too long, they will turn back into a horse, or a horse will come along and pick them up. And then they're a lot faster. And there's also this bird there that flies in. Just a bit of annoyance, really, to be honest, that one. I have not figured out a way that you can kill that one yet. If you know how to kill that red bird that flies in, please let me know. So, Winged Warlords, would I recommend it? Definitely I'd recommend it. It's number 5 on my list for a reason, because it genuinely did shock me, and it's not one I hear many people talking about. So, that's Winged Warlords. Go check it out if you can. Coming in at number 4, we have Sir Lancelot. Now, this game definitely has to be on the list, even though recently I made a video where I was struggling to get past level 2. It was more of a mental block on my part than the game. That's why this definitely deserved to be on the list. This is kind of like your Manic Miner style games, where you've got to collect all the items, avoid the enemies, to get the key to open the next door. You've got a time limit down the bottom there. But this is 16K, and look how fast this runs. It's just, it really did shock me, again, when I put this in and go, are you sure it's a 16K game? But yes, definitely, it's 16K. And it's just super fast, super enjoyable, once you can get past this next level here. So here we are, level 2, my dreaded level 2. This item here, I'm going to pick up first, is the item that I could not get. Every single time I tried this, I kept hitting that enemy on the side. But just look how easy that is now. A bit of practice and getting the mental block out of your own head, and it's quite easy. So if we take that aside, this game just is a fun game. It's a great platformer with lots and lots of different levels, a lot of variety. It's a classic. All the enemies have set patterns, so when you make a mistake, as much as I hate to admit it, you're making the mistake, not the game. This is definitely one that all of you need to pick up and play. As you can see, there is lots of different variety in the levels. This is definitely a game I highly recommend that you guys pick up and play. 16K classic for the ZX Spectrum. And coming in at number 3, we have Phoenix. Phoenix is normally on most people's top Spectrum lists, let alone a 16K Spectrum game. When I first found out this was 16K, I genuinely could not believe it. It's just so good. It is an almost arcade perfect conversion for the home computers. It's just one of those games that as well you want to come back to when you want to play, because it's got multiple different levels. It's got an end of level boss. There's no colour clash. It's nice and smooth. You can even use your shield, which in the later levels you really need to use the shield. The second level here, you can see, gets an awful lot quicker. So I'm going to die a couple of times, but you know, it's okay. It's all good. We can still make it to the boss. And these bird stages here can be a bit tricky. There is a bit of a knack to it though. You've got to sort of like hover to the side and kill them before they hatch out of their eggs. If you leave too many of them on the screen, the bullets that come down here there's so many of them that you can't avoid them. So yes, the key is kill them early. And we get 2 levels of this as well. Did a better job that time. And a boss level. I'm not sure whether this is the first boss level in an arcade game. Somebody in the comments will have to let me know. But it's a great, great game, this. Unfortunately, I don't actually complete this level because I'm getting a little bit too impatient. But it's a fun game nonetheless. Just look at these bullets coming down. You can't avoid them. And taking the number 2 slot, we have 3D Death Chase. This is just an absolute classic game, it really is. I have lost count how many times I've played this game, and I will never get bored of it. I will still come back and play this game again and again. If you've never seen this game before, the whole idea is you're this motorbike going into the distance, and you've got to shoot the yellow and the blue bike that are trying to dodge in front of you. Every so often, a helicopter or a tank will come down in front, and if you shoot those, which can be quite difficult, you will actually get some bonus points, and it's well worth trying to hunt them down if you can. The early stages here are quite simple, just get you an idea of the game, know how you drive. The later levels can get a lot more complicated with a hell of a lot more trees to come. And it's just rinse and repeat, kill them, don't die, don't hit the tree. It's as simple as that. And there you see the helicopter, and the helicopter will sit on the ground for a short period of time, and you can shoot it. The tank is a little bit easier to hit because it goes across the ground and stays on the ground. See, here we are, level 2, and you can already see the trees are getting more and more dense, a little bit more things to avoid and dodge, and it just gets thicker and thicker trees as you go along. There is one thing about this game that used to drive my parents mad though, and that is the sound of the actual motorbike driving. I've been told many, many times in the past that if you're going to play that game, turn the sound off. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Now here we are at one of the later levels, and you can see there is an awful lot more trees to dodge. I know there are people that can play this game and loop it round and round and keep going up in the high scores. I get to a certain point and I tend to die quite quickly. But yeah, I'm just going to leave you now to see if we can actually hit some of these bikes through these trees, because it's looking pretty difficult. Definitely one though that everyone will come back to and play over and over again. Just so much fun, this game. Definitely worth picking up and playing. And taking the number 1 slot, we have Jetpack. There couldn't have been another game, could there? I could have spoke about any of the Ultimate Play of the Game 16K games because they just knew how to code a great game. But for me, Jetpack is almost perfect. It really is. It's a game I will load up every time I pair on my Spectrum. If you've never seen this game before, the whole idea is you've got to fly around the screen with your jetpack, shoot the enemies as you go, build your ship, refuel it, and get to the next planet. Sounds really simple, and it is. And I think that's what makes it really fun and enjoyable. It's a simple concept that can just keep on going and going and going. You'll get different ships along the way and different enemies. The enemies have unique patterns for each screen, and it's challenging. It can get very challenging. The sound of this game, though, of the rocket going up and the bullets are amazing. What I like about this is the fact that this game has been redone multiple times. You can get this on most systems. There's even been a port put over to the ZX81, Jet Scout I think it's called. Definitely give that a try. And you can even play this version and modern versions of it on the Rare Replay for the Xbox. So if you don't have a Spectrum but you have an Xbox, you can play this game. It's even on the Game Pass for free, so there's no excuses. Give this game a go. You will get different ships as you go along as well, and it's just one of those games that go for the high score, come back, one more go. Absolutely love it. So this has been my list of 16k games. I know it's only a top 5 and there was a lot that I've missed out, but you also have to remember as well that I've not played every 16k game. So if there's any that you recommend, please let me know in the comments down below and I will check them out, and if they make my list I will definitely add them to my next one. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your help and your support, and if you like what I'm doing here, please like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you all again next time. Thanks so much for watching.